Hi everyone, and welcome to this video. So I thought I'd do a video on the unboxing of the new Rift S from Oculus that I bought yesterday. Now normally I'm the sort of person that's mega excited to open anything new that I've got, but when I picked it up yesterday there was a couple of things that surprised me just on the sort of outer packaging and the weight of the box in comparison to when I bought my CV1. I bought the CV1 fairly early once it was released because we make use of the VR for our professional racing simulators that we build. I needed to buy a new one for quite a famous customer that we're working with this season, but in particular I've got a session with him this week that needed his simulator rig sort of upgraded, and I suggested to him that he uses VR. And you can't buy the CV1 anymore. It's been discontinued as the Rift S is their new product. So the first thing that surprised me was the weight of it. When I originally got the CV1, I was amazed. It's the first time I've been really sort of wowed by unboxing something. The feel of it, the way that the box was presented, and then the components inside the box was something I hadn't really come across in any other products that I've ever bought. And that's what sort of led me to sort of discovering that people do these unboxing type videos to show people really what's involved and really what you're getting for your money. And I can kind of understand why it's become such a big thing when companies like Oculus are making such a big effort to present their products in that way. So like I say, the first thing that surprised me when I picked it up was it doesn't have the weight in the box like the CV1 did, and that makes me wonder quite how different this is going to be to the original Rift. And so I thought I'd contain my excitement for a day and come to work and do this unboxing video and try and capture if there's any feeling of sort of being wowed like I was with the original CV1. The second thing that surprised me was that this box is covered in the original sort of Chinese details, and I don't quite know what I was expecting. Everything these days is made in China, but I didn't really expect that Oculus were manufacturing it in China, and feeling the weight of the box, like I say, in comparison to the CV1, and then seeing that it's got China written all over it, the fact that it's a lot cheaper than the CV1 when I originally bought that, and having had some up and down experiences of Chinese manufacture for the products that myself and some of my associated companies have had in the past, it slightly concerned me. So we'll see when we unbox it whether or not any of those concerns come to light. And then the last thing that sort of amused me was this label on it: do not open till the 21st of May. And I think that suggests that they were intending or expecting a fairly large take-up of the product like immediately on release, and that they've obviously shipped this to their to shops and distribution centres in large numbers sort of ahead of time, which I suppose is it shouldn't be any real surprise, but it did surprise me slightly in that you see quite a lot of comments and reports online of how VR's not really taking off in the way that they expected, and that that headsets have been a little bit disappointing for high-end gaming, etc. So anyway, let's get this thing open and have a little look. So as you'd expect, the outer box, it's a triple walled by the looks of things. Nice foam padded inserts, so I shouldn't expect any damage to it shipping wise. And then the inner box holding the Rift itself, similar size by the looks of things to the original CV1 headset. I kept my original box, I was that impressed with it. I don't remember there being such logos, I think it was darker. Quite interesting. And they've made, by the looks of things, they've maintained the same sort of box opening style, although I think it had a magnet in it before. So it's a bit sparser on the packaging, as you can see. The original one had all nicely pressed details for where everything sat and little compartments to open, but all we've got here really is the headset sort of trapped in some cardboard, and the two controllers trapped in some more cardboard. Little box here. Oh, must be the what we got. Batteries. Little HDMI converter by the looks of things. Manual, warranty manual, and setup guide. The controllers, a pair of them. I've never played with these before. For what we do on the racing simulators, these are not necessarily not used, and I don't really use the VR for gaming. And then lastly, the headset. So in terms of size of the unit, I think it looks slightly smaller. It's got these sensors, cameras on it. Until I get into setting it up and actually using it, I'm not quite sure how they work, but having looked at reviews online and seen other people talk about how it uses it, obviously we've now not got the central sensor, which for our products could be quite useful, because the original sensor was obviously was a little bit tricky to not install as such for the computing, but install on a rig, because any vibration would screw it up, and it meant that we had to have sort of a separate stand for it, or a shelf, which is not always great on simulator rigs that need to be moved. But it's quite impressive. I think it's what I was expecting. having bought probably half a dozen or more of the CV1s, I don't think I was ever going to be completely wowed by it. I primarily bought it because you now can't get the CV1. I don't know whether or not, if there was an option to buy the CV1 over this, especially if there had been a cost difference, whether or not I'd gone for a CV1 straight away, just because for this particular customer and his sort of urgent application to get his rig up and running properly, might have just gone with what I knew. But this promises to improve the sort of problems that people say that they have with the CV1, which is that the resolution is too low, and especially in simulator rigs where you're trying to look far down the track, the image can be a bit blurry. That's a compromise I've always been prepared to accept, because the VR gives you so much more immersion that, especially for professional drivers where they're looking for trying to get some feel for the car, you just can't get that on a triple monitor setup or on a projector setup. The cars feel dead. You can't feel any start of any understeer or oversteer. You can't really feel the attitude of the car, which is all these little cues that professional drivers need in order to get the most out of their lap times. And so the VR's been really useful, really impressive with what we've been able to do with professional drivers and bringing them on with their driving styles and just getting used to certain cars. We work a lot in the British Touring Car Championship, which is mega competitive, probably the premier British motorsport race championship, and the most competitive. Grids are often covered by less than a second, 30 plus cars on the grid at any one time, and so drivers are looking for a tenth of a second a lap in order to jump maybe 4, 5, 6 places on the grid, and simulator use has definitely been key for trying to just extract that last little bit from these very experienced drivers. And a lot of them have tried professional simulators from, other companies that use either triple monitors or curved projection screens. And all of them have said that the cars feel dead, that they can't feel them, the brakes feel weird, the steering feels weird, that they can't get any indication of what the car's really doing. And as soon as they jump in the VR, all of those comments go away. They say that it feels like driving a real car, and one of them actually said that he had to remind himself he wasn't in the real car at one point. And I think that's a real key benefit for simulators going forward. So back to the Rift S, the potential for a clearer screen and being able to do more work, because it's very important for racing drivers to look far in advance. The potential here with this higher resolution for them to see things clearer in a distance could be a real benefit. But I am concerned that they've changed certain aspects of it so much that perhaps what we benefit there, we might lose out somewhere else. But only time will tell. I'm a little bit nervous because I've sold this very famous racing driver on this system, and I don't now have I don't have any experience with it until I plug this in and try it later, to know whether or not I'm going to satisfy what I've promised him based on my experience with the CV1. But there you go. That's what you get. That's my thoughts on it. That's what we use it for, and I hope you find the video useful. If you look in the description box, you'll find links to where you can buy it on Amazon. Just a little point on that, actually, because I needed it quickly, I didn't actually buy it from Amazon, I bought it from Argos. Argos had it delivered to a store for collection within 2 days, whereas Amazon must have sold out and their delivery time was about a week. I needed it in under a week, so I selected Argos. I probably would rather have bought it from Amazon because it's more convenient, but there we go, I needed to make that effort to get it quicker. Also in the links below is a link to what I refer to as a sweatband. It's basically a little cover that goes over the bit that touches your face. I find it more comfortable. I find you sweat a little less in it, but more importantly for us, where we've got multiple users on the sim at any one time, you don't really want people putting a headset on and feeling someone else's sweat. So that's pretty disgusting. So it's just literally a cotton cover that goes over here, and you can buy a few for not a lot of money and swap them out as you switch between users. So if you want to hear more about setting the Rift up or the Rift S up and its use in when I've connected it to the simulator, then please subscribe to the channel. If you want to hear more about sim racing, certainly from our take of it as using it as a professional tool for driver coaching and car development, please subscribe, please like the video. If you've got any comments, any questions, anything I might be able to help with, please feel free to comment below. And until the next video, thanks for watching. See you soon.